So welcome to the pre-event interview of Industry of Things World in Berlin. It's my pleasure to be here with Rami from Deutsche Telekom IoT.
Pleasure to be here with you, Barbara.
Thank you. So my first question would be the pop in your job. What is the most exciting about your role and why? What are you passionate about?
I love when you start the interviews like that, right? I mean, it's straight to the point. Look, honestly speaking, the best part of my work is, of course, that I get to, first of all, interact with a lot of very, very talented people, right? First of all, within my own team, where we have really great people, but also I get the opportunity to meet a lot of different, very talented people in a lot of other businesses outside of my own business, right? Customers, partners, suppliers, and it's super, super interesting. And I get to see a lot of various different geographies, but also industries, and that's obviously super super interesting. So that's the first part. The second part of your question, the passion I have for IoT. Look, I've been in IoT for now 20 years, right? So I've been in this specific space for a really long time, and what I really love about it is the fact that, you know, the space of IoT is, first of all, touching every single geography and every single industry that you can imagine. I typically ask when I go on different various public speaking engagements, I ask the audience if they can come up with a use case that will never be touched by the value of IoT. And people can't, right? Because it touches everything in one different perspective. So that's the first part. The second part, Barbara, I think is, you know, it is actually, you know, if implemented and really done properly, it creates a tremendous amount of value for the actual users. And obviously, I find it extremely and thrilling to be part of businesses that creates that type of a value for our customers. So that would be the passion around this.
I can clearly hear the passion. So my next question would be, what would you say are the main initial challenges that customers face by implementing any IoT projects?
Well, honestly speaking, this is not only an IoT discussion, because I think the barriers are the same for all of our customers around the world. And I think that there are many. Let's start there, right? But if I just highlight the biggest ones, I think the first one is an internal barrier, and the internal barrier is very much around strategic thinking. People very quickly start focusing on technology rather than strategy, and I think as part of the discussion that we will have at the event, I will talk a lot about how important it is to have an integrated digital strategy as part of your corporate strategy, and I think most companies lack that. So that's number one. Number two, I think, also staying internally, people are still very much looking at the implementation of IoT as a cost rather than an investment, and an investment to actually stay ahead, get ahead, and also potentially stay alive, right? And when you take the cost view, of course, you very quickly limit yourself and the capabilities and opportunities that you have, and also the longevity of what you're doing is becoming rather short-sighted. So I would say that's the first bucket, the internal bucket of different capabilities that you need to change within your organization to put yourself in a position to create success. Then of course there are a lot of other barriers. There are external barriers, right? And the first, I think, is around technology, and I think we as ecosystem players in this space haven't done really, honestly, we've done a rather poor job on this specific topic, and that is about standardization, right? So if you're now any given customer wanting to implement these type of technologies to create value in your organization, you're basically faced with 1,001 platforms, you're faced with 1,001 technologies. Most of them are proprietary, some of them are trying to go down the standardization route, but it's still far away from being a standardized sort of technology space, right? And that, I think, creates huge barriers for our customers, because what technologies do they then pick, right? It's so very, very difficult. And the last barrier, I think, is is actually being able, and it's a combination of these two, right? It's actually to be able to understand the return on investment, because at one point in time, of course, most of these businesses are businesses that aim to make a profit for their shareholders, right? And of course, it is a complex space to very early on, as you deploy IoT solutions, to be able to understand the return on investment that you will have, right? Because you don't know the outcome. You only know the associated cost of getting going. And I think we need to create much more clarity here as an ecosystem on the return on the investment. Finally, if I may, look, this space, and this is not only around IoT, but all of these different technology spaces are changing fundamentally in their own structures. So we're going from very clear linear business models where you had somebody who built something, somebody who sold something, somebody who used something, and then it was scrapped. We're now going much more into circular business models where, you know, somebody who used to be your supplier is now your customer. Somebody who used to be your customer is now your partner, and so on and so forth, right? So it's a hugely changing environment, and that, of course, poses a lot of responsibility on the ecosystem players, but it also creates barriers for the customers. Who do I act with? And under what circumstances? And what should the business models look like? I think we need to create much more clarity for the players that are trying to use these capabilities in their own businesses. So that was a very long answer, Barbara, but I think that sort of sums it all up.
Yeah, and here's the point where Deutsche Telekom could help customers with their recently launched Deutsche Telekom IoT Hub to be more successful and overcome the pitfalls that determine the success of these projects.
So thank you for bringing that up. I think yes, but you know, what is the IoT Hub? Look, the IoT Hub is really the ability for us to create value for our customers by helping them to standardize, helping them to harmonize these different technologies, and giving them a much lower total cost of ownership. Simplifying the way that they manage their legacy environment, the way that they manage the new deployments, how they bring silos together. Because the real value, of course, in IoT is, you know, what is it that you can do with the data that you create from all of these different assets, right? And I think what IoT Hub is trying to do is to streamline the way that we get to value. The IoT Hub is also the ability for customers to implement the concept of, you know, start thinking very big, but starting small and then scaling fast as they found their rhythm and their modus operandi and the value that they're trying to hit, right? So the IoT Hub is much more than an infrastructure. The IoT Hub is there to orchestrate, the IoT Hub is there to simplify, and the IoT Hub is there to reduce barriers. That's sort of the essence of the IoT Hub, right? And the first feedback, because we're in the early stages of the IoT Hub, the first feedback from the market is so far extremely positive, I have to say. And so we're obviously looking forward to taking much more feedback on that as we go along. Are you still there, Barbara? Hello? Are you there, Barbara?
Rami?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, it seems like there was a slight interruption.
Yes, your screen went blank on me there for a second.
Okay, sorry about that. Your screen is now blank as well. I can't see you anymore. It says like, yeah. Is your camera switched on?
Yes, my camera is switched on. I can see myself, I can see you, I can hear myself, and I can hear you.
Okay, so it must be my end.
Let me stop my camera and redo it.
That'd be lovely, thank you.
Okay, share my webcam.
Yeah.
So my webcam is on now. Can you see me?
No, unfortunately I can't. I'm just thinking, because if I stop this, then
Wait a second. Let's.
yeah. It says you're paused.
Let's.
Now I can see you again. Yeah. No, I just can't hear you. Hold on. Let me just unmute you. So I
Now you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So
Okay,
the question is,
so
do we need to redo that last part, or should we? I think
would
you got
say
it, right?
Yeah, I think we just review this last question so that I can cut it,
Okay.
because everything before was fine, and then I will just review the question. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready to go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. Okay. And here's the point where Deutsche Telekom could help customers with their recently launched Deutsche Telekom IoT Hub to be more successful and overcome the pitfalls determine the success of these projects.
Well, so first of all, Barbara, thank you for bringing the IoT Hub up. Look, I think what we're trying to do with the IoT Hub is obviously help our customers overcome a lot of these barriers, right? We're trying to help them overcome silos. We're trying to help them simplify. We're trying to help reduce barriers of technology standardizations, of how do you integrate the wide variety of different technology sources and actually make it all come together, right? But we're also trying to reduce the total cost of ownership and the total cost of operation by integrating a wide variety of different capabilities to be managed in one set of infrastructure. But now, one very important message here: the IoT Hub is not yet another platform, right? That's not what this is, right? It's an infrastructure, but it's much more than an infrastructure. It's our ability to orchestrate, to help our customers create more value faster, right? So the whole concept around the hub is that we are, of course, going to bring a lot of capabilities that are DT-specific capabilities, but we're also going to integrate, and we've started already on that journey, integrate a lot of third-party capabilities as part of the IoT Hub and the offering. What that basically means is that we're orchestrating the ecosystem. And for the customer, this is super important because, of course, if you're now a customer and you look at this landscape, what you are doing is you're trying to build your own ecosystem of a wide variety of different players. And what you want are that those players bring their ecosystems, which basically means that you get a multiplication effect here, right? You're basically using your ecosystem, but also your partner and suppliers' ecosystems to grow the capabilities that you can tap into as a customer to create value in your business. And that is the ultimate goal of the IoT Hub.
How do you think COVID-19 will be affecting the adoption of IoT in companies? Will it accelerate the adoption?
Look, so the simple answer is yes, but I don't like to talk about COVID-19 in those terms. Where the COVID-19 this has been a very painful experience for a lot of people. The people that have been sick, and of course all of those businesses that have been affected, and also people that have been asked to leave their positions, right, because of the situation. So I think there's a lot of issues around the COVID-19 that we have to be respectful about. But of course, if you take away all of those negative aspects of what has happened because of COVID-19, I think this has obviously had a very a positive impact on digitization, because of course one of the first things that all of these businesses realized was that they don't have clarity on their supply chain, they don't have insights, they don't have control, And so, of course, by digitizing, just for example, the supply chain, you're going to be able to mitigate a lot of the problems that you saw as part of the early sort of impacts of the COVID-19 situation. And I think this now is expanded into many different parts of the businesses. I mean, we can see a huge impact in the way that the boardroom is now looking at digital as part of their strategies going forward. We are having a huge amount of increased dialogues, conversations around digital and the impact that it will have. And so I think from that perspective, the COVID-19 has definitely had a positive impact on the speed of adoption of digitization. That's for sure.
This year we're excited to welcome Deutsche Telekom IoT as our virtual speaking partner at Industry of Things World Berlin next week. And what is the main message you want to address, and what can we expect from your session next week?
Well, first of all, thanks for having us, right? We're excited to join. I think, look, we're going to talk about a lot of things. I mean, one of the things that we're going to bring up is, of course, that we're seeing a lot of trends in the marketplace. And I think trends are always interesting, especially if you can contextualize them. So we're going to talk a lot about trends. We're also going to talk about, the importance of having a digital strategy, but not as a standalone concept in your business. It needs to be an integrated part of your overarching corporate strategy, right? So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to spend a huge amount of time talking about the IoT ecosystem, because I think that is vital for all of these different customers and players that are trying to create value from IoT. We need to think in an ecosystem environment, which is very different to how we've looked at it before. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And then, of course, I will hopefully be able to share a little bit more about Deutsche Telekom IoT and what we do. And of course, our mission, and our mission is to really help orchestrate the Internet of Things on the behalf of our customers and partners. So of course, I'm looking forward to do that as well.
Thank you very much, Rami, for taking the time for this interview prior to the Industry of Things World in Berlin next week. And we're looking forward to your virtual session. And thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it as well. See you then. Ciao.
See you then. Bye. Okay, well done. Then I'll obviously cut this bit now. So yeah, thank you, Rami.
Will that work?
It should be working. Yeah, I'll do my technical and cutting afterwards.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're happy with the answers? You're good to go?
I'm very happy with the answers. Are you?
Okay. Look, it really doesn't matter what I think, right? It's the audience that is important.
Yes, yeah. May I ask, do you have a Swedish background, a Swedish accent? I thought I might have heard that when you were speaking English.
That is very true. Does that come alive so hard?
No, because so my mother lives in Sweden, so I'm there quite often. So I think I'm accustomed a bit to this. So
and do you speak Swedish?
No, I understand a bit. I'm German, but I
Du förstår lite, men inte mycket.
Okay. Jag förstår. Yeah.
Du förstår. Okay. Nice. Yeah. No. So I live in Sweden. Yeah.
All right. Where are you based in Sweden?
I'm Stockholm.
Oh, lovely city. All right.
Yeah, it's a lovely city.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, thank you so much. So over to you. You manage the rest.
I will manage the rest. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.